So today I'm going to discuss two citizenships which are both possible in 2 years. These are some of the most popular citizenships in Latin Americas. A lot of queries, a lot of inquiries regarding both these options. If you're new to my channel, I'm Jay Suresh, and here we discuss investments that lead to residencies and citizenships. So if you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe so you're always up to date on the latest and greatest regarding any of the programs. The first one is Argentina. Again, a very solid passport. So if you get your access to this passport, it's an extremely strong travel document. Now, it has a very straightforward, easy process. You spend 2 years in the country on the right status, and you can qualify to apply for your citizenship. It's fairly easy to gain access to the country. A lot of people from the neighboring smaller Latin or South American countries look at this as a gateway, keenly looking at this as an option, as a future option to get that travel document, to get that citizenship for a better life, for better travel mobility. Now, there's an easy process or a straightforward process to get the permanent residency. There are a couple of categories where you can easily qualify and get access to permanent residency. The financial requirements to qualify are fairly low. Now, if you haven't seen my video on Argentina, you can return and take a look at the detailed video with all the categories that appears in the link above. Now, again, this is not immigration, tax, legal, or financial advice. This is educational content. My own analysis on Argentina, it's a very good travel document. It's an extremely strong travel document. So I like the passport. There's no issues with that. Regarding the citizenship, the only one consideration is that you cannot renounce this citizenship. Now, that is not an issue for most people, but some people, this may bother them. The fact that it's only a one-way entry. And my personal concern, we all seen movies of the cartels where you enter one way into the gang. Once you're into it, it's not your wish anymore. You cannot exit this. Otherwise, you lose your life. So these are horror stories that one may have seen. Anything which is a one-way traffic which you can get into but you cannot get out of is always a scary thought to me. Now, mind you, the movies have no connection with Argentina, of course, but just the fact that you would never be able to renounce this type of citizenship is something you should be aware of. Now, a lot of Western country nationals, they frequently boast about being able to renounce their citizenship if, let's say, there is a citizenship-based taxation or whatever is an issue in their country. If it gets hostile, they have that option of getting rid of that nationality, breaking the link, and being free in certain cases. So you would not have that flexibility with something like an Argentina once you decide to get the nationality. So let's say there's a citizenship-based taxation implementation. You cannot get yourself out of this because obviously you cannot renounce the citizenship. The basic fundamental reasoning behind this is that no one can strip you of your Argentinian citizenship. Again, this is a double-edged sword. They can't strip you off. In a lot of cases, obviously, if you obtain this through fraud or illegal means, it's a very different story. But otherwise, you have a safe citizenship that cannot be ever taken away. But then on the flip side, you yourself cannot even renounce the citizenship, so you are basically stuck with it. Having said, I think this is a great option, not something that would bother most people. So if you're on your path to considering Argentina as your home, then this is a pretty straightforward, safe bet. The second on my list is the beautiful country of Dominican Republic. I personally love this because it's centrally located. So a lot of people aren't really looking for an extremely strong passport. They already have that. What they are looking for is that central location, which can be a hub. Bahamas is not affordable to everyone, but Dominican Republic is not that far away. It's a very central location. You have access to your entire Atlantic setup. Let's say you want to go to the Caribbean countries of your citizenship. You want to go to the US. You want to go to Mexico. You want to go to the Dutch territories, or you want to go to any of the Latin, I should say South Americas, then Dominican Republic is that center point, gives you that whole range of access. So in that sense, I really like this geography more than anything else. So once you get the passport, 70 odd countries, slightly more, it's not the strongest travel document. So for those who are looking for good access or strong access, this is not for you. Now, I have a detailed video on the power of a weak passport, and if you haven't checked that out, I would strongly recommend you return and check this link. Let's talk about the unique benefits and advantages of a weaker passport, which in some cases can be much more advantageous than your typical paid options, which get you that quick passport and that quick access. But when it comes to certain other areas, a weaker passport can be more protection in a lot of cases. Now, getting back to the Dominican Republic, how do you get access? Again, the citizenship it can be done after 2 years. The first step is really getting permanent residency in the country. Fairly straightforward process. There are 3 categories. One is passive income, meaning income from other sources which qualify, very low requirements. The second category is rentista, again, very modest rental income requirements. Let's say you're renting your apartment in your home country, you're getting rental income, you show it to them, you qualify for a permanent residency. The third category is the investor category. Let's say you want to buy a condo by the seafront, you invest a modest amount in your own condo. This is not donation. This is a condo which you can use for rental business. Let's say you're yachting and you're getting off at your Dominican Republic home. You can use this for stay. You can then otherwise use this as a rental income property. So you do that and then you qualify for an investor entry, an investor PR. The investors are on a fast track pathway to citizenship. After 2 years, you can apply for your citizenship. Now, that permanent residency is very flexible. It is a flexible permanent residency. It's not as strict as something like a Canadian PR. This is fairly straightforward. So once you have access to this travel document, it should give you all the protections that it should. It's a very unique utility to have in your armory. It gives you a lot of protection. It gives you that central point. In my opinion, it's a fairly underrated option. A lot of people talk about the access and underrate this as an option, but from a geography perspective, from a plan B security and safety perspective, from an exotic location perspective, I would actually rate this much higher than what it is. And if you want to learn how to choose the right expert to process these options, then take a look at either of both these 2 videos which explain the whole process from start to finish. All right, see you in the next one.